Hello and welcome. My name is Lexi Jong and here I like to talk about luxury beauty. Today we're going to talk about a couple of new items from Bobbi Brown. So Bobbi Brown has released some new shades of their Luxe eyeshadows and I picked up one of them, and my friend Bonnie Le Bon Maquillage, if you are on Instagram, if you're not following her, you definitely should. She's like fantastic with swatches, but she does have swatches of all of these. So I would definitely check her out if you're interested. I placed an order from Selfridges and I wanted to try these new crushed creamy color for cheeks and lips from Bobbi Brown. These are their new cream blushes. I ordered two. One of them, I guess, went out of stock after I ordered, so they canceled that from the order. But I ended up picking up these two items. So let's cut to the demo and then we'll come back and talk about it. So let's take a look at the crushed creamy color for cheeks and lips from Bobbi Brown. This is the new Squeeze Tube like cream blushes. I have the shade Creamy Coral. And I purchased this from Selfridges. I have to say though, now when I try to go purchase more colors, because the one I had ordered was canceled from my order, there are like duties fees attached. So I'm not sure what's going on with that, but I have one of them. I have not seen these available anywhere else. Okay, so let's see here. Here it is. Okay, and you can kind of buff that out. So that's pretty. I think I'm actually going to just, make a little pile here on my hand and dip my brush into it. And, well, you know what? We'll use finger for one side and we'll do the brush method on the other side. I'm going to use the Sonia G Classic Base. I think maybe we need a little more product. All right, and then I'm going to just dip this brush in here, wiping that on my cloth a little bit. And, so I think I should have used a smaller brush. I definitely got a little bit more on there than I intended to. I personally like the brush side better than the finger side. I feel like it just, I don't know, looks a little bit smoother. Let me show you from a distance. Fingers, brush. Or rather, fingers with the brush. Here, let's do it just with the fingers here. So if we're just tapping it on just with fingers, you can obviously make it more concentrated. For me, that's going to be a little bit too dark, but let me show you that from a distance. So here it is, it's the brush side. All right, so that's a Creamy Coral blush. I would actually say the color though is more like persimmon. It's definitely more orangey than a coral. It really just looks like a persimmon to me. So for eyeshadow, I also picked up one of the new Luxe shadows from Bobbi Brown. This is the foil formula and the shade is Opalescent. And I so far do not have any of the singles like this. The ones I have are in the holiday palette. And I love the formula, but I have heard that this is different. So just so you know, there's a little like lever here to open that up. You can see you do have a really pretty packaging here. This is Opalescent. And we have a mirror with some, a little sticker on there. Let's pull that off. And let's take a look at Opalescent here. Let's just put that right here. Okay, so it's definitely more gold than I thought it was going to be. I thought it would be a little bit more champagne-y, but it definitely looks pretty gold. And, it doesn't feel, with swatching, it doesn't feel as putty-like as the ones from the holiday palette. Let's put this on the eyes. We're going to start off with a soft, fluffy squirrel hair brush, see how this performs. This is a Suku L brush. And I'm just gonna get some on here, tap it off, and let's see how this goes on. I mean, you don't need to worry about using a dense brush or anything. This goes on just fine. This brush is great for one and done shadows because you can get in the crease, you can get all over. It's incredibly soft. This is no longer made with the natural hair. They have synthetic versions now. But if you are looking for a brush just like this, Fude Japan has these brushes, and so does Kairedo Kiwami large eyeshadow brush. They are essentially the same. I believe it's the same manufacturer for all of them, and it's the same shape essentially. So let's just use a finger application over here. So with the ones in the holiday palettes that I've tried, well, at least some of them I do prefer finger because they feel more like putty-like. This really just feels more like a regular shadow. So you can see that goes on just fine. I wouldn't say it is significantly more opaque or anything like that with the finger application versus the brush. But let's try a more dense brush. We're going to take the Givenchy soft shader and just knocking off any excess. I mean, this is great for getting it exactly where you want it. Goes on very smoothly. Again, I don't notice though any major opacity difference between the two sides. I think they're pretty comparable. And yeah. And so I'm going to finish this off with the Sisley eyeliner in, what is this one? Matte Peacock. So I'm going to put this on the upper lash line and also on the lower lash line. Just going to take the Givenchy soft shader, just soften that a little bit. For the lower lash line, I'm just going to put this on this outer portion here. And before it has any time to set, I'm taking this soft shader and I'm just going to smudge this out. And we're going to top this with the opalescent. All right, so now I'm just going to take the tip of the soft shader into opalescent here, knock off any excess, and I'm going over the lower lash line with this. All right, so that's going to be it for the eyes. I think when I use my highlighter today, I'm just going to add a drop in there. So let's see what I'm going to use. I'm going to take out the Guerlain Meteorites Pearl Dust palette. This is still one of my absolute favorite highlighters. It's my favorite highlighting palette of all time. It's not available, so I try not to use it too much on my channel, but it's still a go-to for me all the time. So I'm actually going to take this white shade here, which is a white gold shade, and I'm just going to use a little bit of this in the inner corner using the soft shader just for a little brightening. But for the cheeks today, you know, I'm going to actually go into this shade here, which is called Pearly Amber. I'm going to take the Omnia Gold fan brush. You can use any fan brush or, well, any brush, but just going to get a little bit of that up here. So before I finish the rest of my makeup, I'm taking the Bobbi Brown Luxe Defining Lipstick. These are these lip pencils that came out last year. And this shade here is First Edition. Just show you what that looks like. You can see that it's got a creamy consistency. It's got the pencil point, which makes it easy to use. And the back does have a sharpener on this. And this is going to be kind of like a nude pink with some peach mixed in. So I'm going to add this all over lightly on my lips, and then I'm adding the crushed oil infused gloss in the buff. So let's try adding it wet just a little bit to the center of the eye. So I'm just taking a little bit of rose water and I'm getting my finger a little wet there. And let's just go ahead, add that there. Let me get it a little bit more wet. All right, so you can see this, and I don't know. I can't say that I'm noticing that much of a difference wet. I mean, I don't know, but let's swatch it wet so we can see. And here's the wet swatch. I mean, it's more impactful. It looks more bronzy actually wet versus dry, but I don't think it's a huge difference on the eyes if I'm using it in a small area. All right, so let's talk a little bit about these products. This is the Creamy Coral, and as I mentioned, I think it really seems more like a persimmon shade. On the cheeks, I can feel like a little dewiness where I have the product, but it's not sticky or anything. Like, it's not really noticeable unless I go and touch it. And you can see that there is still going to be some shine or some sheen to this, even on the cheek. So yeah, once you pat it out, you're still going to have a bit of a shine, almost like what you're getting with these tinted lip balms / lipstick hybrid products recently. This actually has kind of a very similar level of shine to it, in my opinion. Not as much as the high shine ones, but yeah, it's kind of like that to me. And then the opalescent here, we got the dry versus the wet. Let's just take a look at a couple of Bobbi Brown comparisons. This here is the Luxe Precious Metal eyeshadow palette from this holiday. And this one is called, I think this one is Skyline Shimmer. It's hard to tell because like on the back, I feel like it's gotta be written backwards from where they sit, but this is Skyline Shimmer. You can see that this one has a bit more orange in it, but they definitely have the formula actually seems pretty similar with this particular palette. And let's see here, we can take a look at this one too. This is gonna be much deeper. This is Antique Bronze. And there you go. So texturally though, these feel very similar. Now, moving on to one of the Luxe eyeshadow palettes from the previous holiday. This is the bronze palette. And these, I mean, you can see just looking at the pans that these have more of a creamy putty-like texture. I'm just gonna swatch all 4 of these, but yeah, this is nothing like the formula in the actual single now. So here's the bronze palette here. I actually really like this formula because it goes on and stays on really, really well. Let me make those 2 darker. There we go. Now, as for the actual texture and finish of this, I feel like it is more similar to the Chantecaille. These are the singles with the animals. This one here is Cheetah, but these are the luminescent eye shades. There's more shine or sheen with the Chantecaille. You can see how shiny that is. It's a little bit more foiled. But I feel like texturally, this is what it feels like when you go ahead and swatch it or put it on. And I feel like the amount of like sparkle in there is pretty comparable. This is the closest shade in the Chantecaille to match the opalescent shade. This is obviously going to be a lot more of a champagne shade with, I mean, there's a little bit more like pink in it in comparison to the Bobbi Brown as well. As for the cream blush, we're going to take a look at the Makeup by Mario this one is in Soft Coral. And you can see that this is going to be more pink. And it's also a little bit more matte. It doesn't have quite as much of a sheen to it, but yeah. Now, this is one of the Jones Road sticks, and this color is not going to be anything like it, but I did want to see how the sheen compares because this is more like a balmy texture. And it has a little bit of shimmer and a little bit of a sheen to it, but you can see it still doesn't have quite the same amount. It's not really such a glossy sheen. So yeah, I don't know if I have a cream blush with this kind of finish. I also wanted to take a look at the Cle de Peau Holiday Cream Blush in 201 Warmth Magic. This one was really hard for people to get, and it's going to be a little bit more pink for sure. These are also going to be more matte on the skin. They're more of like a natural finish, not like completely matte, but definitely more matte than a lot of other cream blushes. And the closest Westman Atelier I have is Minette. Let's put that right here. You can see it's also going to be more pink. I just don't have anything quite this shade or with that much shine to it. So it's definitely a different product. So let's talk a little bit more about these products, and I'll give you my first impressions so far. We'll do an update so you can see how things perform throughout the day, and I'll give you my final thoughts at the end. The new Luxe Eyeshadows from Bobbi Brown are a new formula. These are available on Bobbi Brown. They're available at the normal retailers like Nordstrom and so forth, and Selfridges. I ordered mine from Selfridges with the creamy cheek color. Now, so far, this new formula, it says it comes in 3 different finishes. So there's 3 new finishes. There's Luster, which is high sparkle, rich metal, which gives a molten or foil effect. And my guess is that that's what this one is, because on the box, it says foil. Nowhere on the website does it say which particular finish goes with which shade. So that is something that hopefully they will amend. But as of right now, when you look at the different shades available in the new formula, none of them tell you the finish. The third finish is called Rich Sparkle, and that's going to be a supercharged sparkle formula. These retail for $38 US. And according to Bobbi Brown, it's an all-new multi-dimensional metallic eyeshadow formula designed to give eyes instant incandescence. And again, we've got the 3 new formulas. They are 8-hour wear, crease proof, fade proof, and they can be used wet or dry. When you use them wet, they're supposed to give you a more intense foiled look. So again, we've got dry versus wet here. And yeah, it recommends using like just even the same color, wet and dry, to give it more dimension. I can't say that I noticed that much of a difference though on my eye with this particular shade. So perhaps it would work better with some other shades, or if I made a larger area with it. But I think it's a really nice formula, and the fact that it really feels like these Luxe Precious Metals, which I love this holiday palette. Like, this was one of my favorite holiday purchases this year. I still use this all the time. I think it's gorgeous on the eyes. I really like it. So if you missed out on this, I would definitely recommend picking up some of these, whatever colors you like. If you already have this palette though, although we don't have a color exactly like it, I feel like they're close enough. So I think it's a really great formula though, and I am excited to see how well they perform. My guess is they're going to perform like this, which wear like iron on the eyes. So hopefully everything's good, but we'll see that during the check-in. Just a few specs on the single eyeshadow. So this is 0.04 ounces or 1.3 grams, retails for $38 US. It's made in Italy. And just for reference, both of these palettes from Bobbi Brown were made in Italy as well. And this has, no parabens, phthalates, sulfites, mineral oil, triclosan, or formaldehyde. So just some things that were noted on the website. And yeah, you can see here that this one says foil on it. So my thought is that that is the finish, which goes along with the rich metal finish. So now, as for the creamy color for cheeks and lips, I did not use this on my lips. It definitely has enough sheen that you can do that. I don't know, I prefer using like a lipstick or something instead of these types of products on my lips, so I just chose not to. But this is 10 milliliters or 0.34 ounces, and they are available at Selfridges, but they're not available here in the US. Rumor is that they are going to be a UK exclusive, or rather not come to the US. So I'm not sure whether that's true or not. We'll have to, I guess, wait and see. But they are made in Canada, so hopefully Canada has them. I think they are a really nice product though. I'm interested in trying more. There are currently 4 shades, and they keep going in and out of stock at Selfridges. So the pink one was just back in stock. And again, I tried to order it because I really wanted that shade. And unfortunately, there's like 20% duties now for the US on at least every product I've tried so far. But I have heard that some people have not had those duties. So I don't know what's going on. So we'll have to wait and see. So I did not pick it up because of that, but I don't know. So I found that a little disappointing. First impressions for both of these products are positive. The eyeshadow, again, I think is going to be just like the ones in the Luxe Precious Metals eyeshadow palette. Perhaps they were kind of testing out the formula with this. I'm really happy with that palette though and the formula, so I'm hoping that that's how this single will be. And as for the creamy cheek color, I think it blends out nicely and it looks nice on the cheeks. Finish, it's not like sticky or anything like that. It adds some added shine. I think it's gonna be a really great product for summer, you know, because you don't even need to add like a highlight or anything with it. So we'll see how it wears. I'll see you back here for an update. Okay, so it is just a few minutes shy of 9.5 hours. And this is how the eyeshadows have worn. You can see there's no fading, no creasing. It really has held up to the claims of 8-hour wear. It's gone past that. This is the blush. You can see you still have that sheen from it. You know, I do have a little highlight here, but all of this is the blush. So there's still that shine. You can still see the pigment. Let me show you everything from a distance also. So here it is from a distance. And I mean, I definitely still see the pigment, still see the sheen from the blush. I think there might have been a slight minimal fading. You know, it doesn't look quite as vibrant as it did earlier in the day, but it's definitely still there. And, you know, I don't think that the amount of fading I've had is anything necessarily negative. It's been 9.5 hours, so I think it's actually held up really well for a cream product. And the fact that that shine is still there without making my cheeks feel like sticky or greasy or oily or anything is really incredible. So I think this product has actually held up really well. So final thoughts on these, or rather final thoughts for one day's worth of wear. I think the eyeshadow formula is great. It really does seem to be just like those in the Luxe Precious Metals eyeshadow palette from the holiday season, which is one of my favorite palettes. I really love that one. So I'm really happy that these formulas, you know, hold up to it. They're really easy, thin on the eyes, you know, you don't feel any, they're smooth, you know, it's a smooth, thin formula. So you don't feel any grittiness, there's no chunkiness. I really like the putty formula of the older formula as well. Those really performed well. I thought they were unique, but I have to say that this one performs so nicely. And it's a little bit easier to use than the putty formula. So it's really smooth and it goes on nicely regardless of your application style. So I think these are definitely a winner. And when they come out with more colors, I will definitely pick them out. The colors that they have in this current collection is called like the Claret collection. They're a little bit on the warmer side. So I only picked up one, but you know, I would love to see an olive green from them. So I would definitely jump on that right away. The creamy cheek and lip colors, I do hope these end up coming to the US. I really like them. I would pick up a couple more of these. I think they're really nice. I think they're gonna be a great product for summertime. And I personally, application style, you know, you can put it on whichever way you want, but I did like making a swatch on my hand and then patting it on with a brush instead. That's my preferred method. And I just think everything turned out really well. I'm really impressed with how well these held up. So overall, I would say that both of these products were a win, and yeah, I hope to see more of these. So I hope this video was helpful. Please let me know of any comments or anything down below in the description box or the comment box, and I will see you very soon. So have a great day and stay safe and healthy.